General Milley and Ms. Milley, congratulations. Thank you for your service. General Milley, I want to start maybe with going back to something that the chairman mentioned in his opening comments. And incidentally, I'm sorry I had to step out. I've got a competing committee meeting over in Judiciary that I've got to go back to. But we have sequestration, which I think to a person we all recognize is devastating. We have to get rid of it. It's bad policy, should have never been implemented. What are your thoughts, though, about ways that we can save money in your new position? And I look forward to supporting you in this nomination. But what areas, in your opinion, do we have the opportunity to bend the cost curve or increase productivity? And how would you go about doing that in your new role?
I think there's at least 3 areas that should be seriously considered. Senator McCain has already referenced them. One is I think we have to take a hard look at overhead. The Army, but not just the Army, the military across the board, all the services to include Department of Defense, are a very, very large organization with a big bureaucracy with a significant overhead. The second is acquisition. As already previously mentioned, there's a considerable amount of cost and in many cases waste in the acquisition process. We need to get that under control. And the third and final piece that I think is worth taking a look at, there's a wide variety of emerging technologies that could, in the out years, 15, 20 years from now, lend itself to automated processes and reducing either manpower or manpower costs, compensation costs over time. And those would be 3 pretty big areas that I'd want to take a look at if confirmed.
Thank you. We have Russia creating a looming threat in Europe. We have the Pacific and China's expansion, or I should say increased activities there. We have the ongoing war in the Middle East against the fight against Islamic extremism. General Odierno, I believe, said that a 50-brigade army should be adequate to keep these threats in check, but now we're on a trajectory for about a 33-brigade army. Do you think that managing or facing those threats is possible with a 33 Brigade Army?
Senator, are you talking active brigades, or are you talking the total Army brigades? Because right now, total Army, we have 60 brigades today. We've got 32 in the active component today. The plan that was announced a week or 2 ago will take us down to 30 brigades, active component, and we'll lose 2 out of the guard. But the bottom line is,
it was the 30. That was the active of the 30th Brigade, right?
I think from a total Army perspective, we've got adequate capacity, numbers of brigade combat teams to handle the contingencies that are currently on the books. If we do not drop below the 980 force, we have adequate capacity, size. But that is with significant risk. That risk is incurred in terms of time, the time to the fight, the time to mobilize guard units, the time to get them trained, certified, et cetera, and get them to the fight. And then it's also significant risk and potential casualties. And the second piece is not just capacity, but capability, the readiness of the force, how capable it is to handle that type of fight, which is a different fight than what we would have that we've been dealing with for the last decade and a half. So we've got ways to go in terms of improving our readiness with respect to the higher end type of combat operations.
General Milley, I just want to close by saying I look forward to you being in this role. You were one of the first people to reach out to me back before I was even sworn in to offer information and to help me ramp up. You were very generous with your time when I spent several days down at Fort Bragg, and you've been up here several times. I know you to be a very approachable, direct person. I think you're going to be a great addition as the Chief of Staff. And thanks again to you and your family.